crashed into social media like a thunderbolt, an arresting, surreal clip that nearly stopped scrollers in their tracks. Bathed in dramatic, low-key hospital room lighting, she stands in a sleek black maternity gown, fingers draped over an impossibly perfect bump. Then the beat drops. She laughs, gyrates, even twerks, mouthing lyrics about being a baby mama, demanding child support. It looked less like a celebratory announcement and more like a carefully choreographed parody, or to some, a provocation calculated to ignite controversy. But buried beneath the spectacle was a single unsettling question. Was that bump ever real? In the first few seconds, viewers felt a jolt. Meghan, the poised duchess known for measured speeches and polished appearances, was suddenly a silhouette in chiaroscuro, moving with abandon. Comments streamed in, is she even pregnant? That bump looks like a Halloween prop.
You are witnessing a broken heart that is allowed to bleed openly. That is what we are witnessing.
That's not what I'm witnessing.
That is what you are witnessing.
I'm witnessing an entitled, arrogant, bitter, twisted little man who's had his claws dug into by a manipulative LA lady, and the pair of them have gone on a mission, a wrecking ball mission, to enrich themselves by abusing the very institution which bestowed the titles to them, which they used to make.
Close-ups of her curved silhouette showed a shape too smooth, too symmetrical, no faint veins, no subtle weight shifts. Fans who'd celebrated every stage photo tour erupted in disbelief. Even casual onlookers paused mid-scroll, certain they'd stumbled into someone else's satire. The clip felt incendiary, designed not to inform, but to provoke. And provoke it did, reigniting an online firestorm of questions long relegated to conspiracy theory corners. When Archie's birth first made headlines, a handful of skeptical viewers noted something strange. A bump that seemed almost too rigid, its curve too uniform in carefully angled photos.
She's dancing in front of the camera. Oh God, it looks like a lap dancing club with pregnant women. He's also dancing in front of the camera. She's got a black dress on. She's literally holding her bump and twerking, and she's put this on social media. The woman is that's getting worse now. She looks like she's performing.
By the time baby Lilibet arrived, the murmurs grew louder. Ultrasound announcements posted at odd hours. Bump snapshots that vanished as quickly as they appeared, and maternity shoots with shadows expertly concealing any subtle shape-shifting. Royal Watch blogs and pro-succession pundits dismissed these observations as the fever dreams of conspiracy theorists, while glossy lifestyle magazines celebrated Meghan's natural glow and hailed her as the modern epitome of regal maternity. Yet every once in a while, an eagle-eyed follower unearthed a clip so telling it couldn't be ignored. Meghan clasping her bump mid-stride, only for it to fold like a foam prop, then snap back into that perfect orb. In another video, the lighting glinted off a seam at her side, an imperceptible line that suggested more costume than corporeal. Rumors suggest these weren't isolated glitches, but a pattern of recurring anomalies. Little inconsistencies in posture, timing, and texture that mainstream outlets quietly brushed aside. Now with Meghan herself starring in a stylized birth announcement that felt more music video than memoir, those dormant whispers erupted into full-blown speculation. Photographers revisited old red carpet maternity shots, comparing grainy paparazzi frames to the hyper-polished hospital room footage. Social media threads parsed timestamps and file metadata, hunting for evidence of editorial tampering. What began as hushed doubts in comment sections had transformed into a digital excavation of every public-facing moment of her pregnancies. And as fans and critics alike tore apart every frame, one unsettling thought emerged. If these subtle inconsistencies point to a hidden truth, what else might the Sussexes be hiding? Within hours of the video's release, social feeds overflowed with freeze-frame analyses. A registered nurse pointed out that the hospital bed side rails were inverted, an impossibility in any real labor ward. The fourth line, she noted, hung loosely with no drip chamber in sight, as if carelessly draped over a prop rather than secured to a patient. On TikTok, a midwife went even further. She highlighted the spotless flooring and perfectly arranged medical carts, then contrasted them with standard delivery rooms she's worked in, where sterile blue drapes and functional clutter are the norm. This set looks more like a soundstage than a maternity ward, she concluded, hinting it was all choreography and foam. Meanwhile, across academic circles, a mathematics professor named Norman Fenton ran a lighthearted yet damning calculation of the bump's curvature. He measured screen-grab dimensions and estimated the radius needed to maintain that unyielding, perfectly spherical shape under Meghan's hand. Soft tissues, he wrote, would flatten or stretch, especially under those dramatic squats and deep bends. Instead, this form-defying orb exhibits the rigidity of a sculpted prop. During one sequence, as Meghan dipped into a near-horizontal lunge, the bump held its flawless contour, something no genuine pregnancy could sustain under gravity's constant pull. Mothers began sharing side-by-side photos of their own late-term bellies, veined, faintly modeled with stretch marks, each uniquely asymmetrical, and tagging them number real versus real. One mother posted a close-up of her navel area, puckered and natural, then compared it to Meghan's smooth, unbroken silhouette. Another mother, who delivered twins last year, uploaded video of her bump compressing and sliding beneath her hand, starkly contrasting Meghan's immovable sphere. The collective testimony was unanimous. Real pregnancies carry the marks of life, imperfections, weight shifts, and subtle texture changes, none of which appeared in the Duchess's performance. In silent unison, these experts and everyday women all raised the same pointed question. If every visual and physical cue screamed staged, then what exactly were we watching? And as the chorus of doubt grew louder, it became clear the fallout would go far beyond cosmetic critique. It's common knowledge that British royal succession demands a child be born of the body of a royal parent, an archaic-sounding clause with very real legal power. Surrogacy, unless fully disclosed and documented through official channels, could nullify a child's claim to titles. Legal analysts noted that if Meghan had used a surrogate, or worse, or a prosthetic bump to mask the truth, it might constitute a breach of succession law. Archivists dusted off old statutes. Constitutional scholars debated scenarios. Would a hidden surrogacy require parliamentary approval? Could petitions to verify birth certificates even reach the King's Privy Council? In Australia, Republicans sharpened their arguments, arguing that a monarchy built on secrecy and spectacle had lost its moral high ground. What began as a viral clip had mushroomed into talk of potential legal challenges, royal precedents, and a constitutional headache for Buckingham Palace. Piers Morgan, never one to hold back, unleashed a scathing takedown on X. He posted a split-screen comparison of Meghan's hospital room gyrations beside footage from her earlier maternity announcements, mocking the inconsistency. "Tell me again this is the same pregnancy," he jeered. Within minutes, his timeline erupted with mocking gifs, viral memes, and even a tongue-in-cheek petition urging him to hand-deliver his evidence to Buckingham Palace. Not to be outdone, Jeremy Kyle took the controversy to primetime television. With a mixture of incredulous laughter and thinly veiled disgust, he declared, "It looks less like a birth announcement and more like an audition for a strip club, complete with strobe lights and a choreographed bump." His co-host, Kenzie Schofield, jumped in, eyebrow raised. They fled the UK claiming they craved privacy, yet here she is in a shadowy set performing for the camera. How does that add up? Even daytime talk show hosts weighed in. One presenter quipped that Meghan's dance moves were so over the top they'd make TikTok stars blush, while another questioned whether the video was a stunt to distract from deeper palace tensions. Across podcasts and radio panels, former royal correspondents found their carefully crafted defenses unraveling, some openly admitting they'd once dismissed the bump chatter, only to feel uneasy after watching the clip in full. As the ripple effect spread through celebrity circles, commentators from Hollywood to Westminster piled on, each voice amplifying the sense that Meghan's silence was now as provocative as her performance. The sharper their barbs grew, the louder the public demanded answers. And with every new insult hurled at the Duchess, the palace's walls seemed to grow ever more impenetrable. But the court of public opinion was just warming up. Instead of addressing the controversy, official channels sank into curated tranquility. A birthday tribute video for Lilibet, a photo carousel of family strolls, anything but an explanation. Insiders whisper that courtiers advised against a statement, fearing any denial would feed the frenzy. But the vacuum only amplified suspicion. Whenever you don't address a rumor, people assume you're hiding something. Palace aides were reportedly fielding frantic calls from foreign ambassadors scrambling to craft messages. Yet to the public, it seemed as if the Crown was saying, "We have nothing to say." And in that silence, the rumors grew louder and more brazen. Within 24 hours, the hashtag #ProveTheBirth trended on X, with thousands demanding public release of birth records. Change.org petitions called for Archie and Lilibet's removal from the official website until proof was provided. On Reddit, a dedicated subreddit popped up with legal deep dives into the Royal Titles Act, inviting members to draft model petitions. In Canberra, a leading monarchist lobby group warned that anti-royal activists would exploit every misstep, urging governments to reconsider royal funding. Across London, cafes buzzed with talk of constitutional fairness. If celebrities can mask pregnancies, what does that do to the idea of royal transparency? Social media chatter had evolved from snarky memes to sober debates about legitimacy and trust. Reports whisper that King Charles sees this as a blow to his modernization efforts, an embarrassment he'd hoped his son and daughter-in-law would help smooth over. Prince William, furious at the renewed chaos, is said to question whether the Sussexes respect the very institution they once seemed to embrace. Royal biographers, previously constrained by unwritten rules of discretion, are now racing to update upcoming editions, some even rewriting chapters overnight. Meanwhile, Meghan remains silent. No Instagram post, no publicist memo, not even a cryptic quote. That void leaves space for every wild theory imaginable. A calculated play for attention?